So this is kind of a random rant, since I'm a bike racer, I'm a track sprinter, and despite my size and everything else, I've done pretty well as a masters racer, and having come into it very late in life. That said, I because I came into it late in life, I came into it without having too many expectations, if that makes sense. And it kind of confounds people, my success, even though it's taken a long time. Keep in mind, and that actually was part of the whole deal, is it's taken me a long time, over a decade to get to where I am. And it was started very slowly and built and built and built. And it wasn't until 2015 where I wanted to devote it purely to track sprinting. And I, honestly didn't really have my breakthrough until 2020, so 5 years later, which is not a long time, but for some people too long. That said, these are the observations I made, and this is what made me have the quantumish leap from 2019 to 2020. It was, and it's my favorite part of my story, is that I gave up on trying to win, and I did things that I thought were better for me as an athlete. And if it's not doing things like hanging on a bar, it's not lifting heavy. And that's where my methodology confounds a lot of people, is that I do many things differently from people. And I don't lift heavy, and I will never ever again lift heavy. It doesn't mean I don't lift. But the conventional wisdom was you have to lift heavy to get max watts, and max watts is what makes you fast. And speaking of 2019, about that time, that summer of COVID and everything else, I started sharing. I wasn't racing, but I was sharing the screenshots of my Garmin head computer on Instagram, like every one of my workouts. Again, that summer of COVID was crazy because we had no idea what was going on. I was simultaneously training for Ninja Warrior season 12 that never happened for me, even though I was selected. But it was just this weird summer where I had no expectations, but I was just training for the sake of training and having fun. And that's when I started posting those screenshots, because prior to that summer, I was not nervous, but no one wants to talk about when they get weaker or when their wattage goes down. You always want to show like these big numbers. My wattage was going down, and I was 49 at that point, 50. Leading up to 2020, I was 49, and it was one of these things where my power was going down, and I'm like, I know everyone else is going down, but maybe mine is going down faster than everyone else's, and this is why I'll never be able to win. And so I started posting these screenshots of my power. It was almost kind of like tongue-in-cheek in me saying, man, I suck. and I was just posting these screenshots, and I just got used to doing it. And that apprehension about my power, it just went away. And that was so refreshing. And then 2021 rolls around, and there's rumors that racing was going to start, and I was winning. That was the crazy thing. And you take an entire year of me sharing these screenshots of an aging athlete. But now this aging athlete is starting to win, and win pretty big as far as time gaps. And so carry on to that late summer, I won my first national championship. But that said, it was all done with meager watts, no heavy lifting, but yet I'm going faster and faster and faster as time goes by. I'm going to soon reach a point where I'm not going to go any faster, and that's fine. I'm expecting that. But the trend was, to keep in mind, up till the winter of the end of 2019, my max wattage was going down, and it wasn't until 2020 that I started to pull it back up just a little bit. 2021, I really pulled it up. And that's when I knew that I was onto something, because I double checked my power meters, double checked everything, and the trend was things were going faster. I was getting more wattage. And the crazy thing was is I wasn't chasing that. It was having fun, enjoying myself. And, in hindsight, it was putting my money where my mouth was, and I stuck to the whole thing of not lifting heavy. So I guess the whole rambling point about this video is it doesn't work for everyone, but you got to trust the system. And to me, the reason why I stopped lifting heavy was I was getting hurt. And the whole point for me was to be an athlete, not be a hurt athlete, because a hurt athlete is pretty much useless. I wanted to be a functional athlete. And then that, again, and going into 2020 and getting the Ninja Warrior call, I wanted to be an athlete. I didn't want to be a bike racer that couldn't hang, that couldn't do cool stuff at 49.50. So that's my journey. And I'm reminded of it because I still share those screenshots of my power. In fact, a friend reached out to me just now, and that's the whole impetus of this conversation, is that I posted some wattage, and I captioned it as it was like 1137 watts, not a whole lot, and I was going all out. And I was saying in the caption, I don't have very many watts, but the few I do have, I do okay with. And that point of that caption wasn't to thumb it in people's noses, but it's to let you know, like, Will Wong only puts out this much power. But that's not indicative of the whole picture, because obviously he's fast. He goes very, very fast with that little bit of wattage. And so don't get fixated on these arbitrary things when you don't look at everything in a holistic manner. I guess that's the whole point of this. Is that's what I think. People get fixated on these things, and the whole lifting heavy aspect is a great excuse for bad advice, because if the first thing you think of is I'm not going faster, so I'm not lifting heavy enough. So it's this never-ending loop that you'll never get out of, because you're going to get hurt. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And then when you're hurt, you're going to not be able to exercise, and then you're not going to be able to lift very heavy, and then it's this self-fulfilling prophecy of this loop that goes around and around and around. Whereas if you take a step back and look at yourself in a holistic manner and realize that being strong but not being able to implement the power is kind of useless. And so that's how my training methods that I share freely to everyone, that's the underlying current of it all, is that I'm going faster and I'm getting stronger at the same time because I'm a more rounded, holistic athlete. And that's a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow. And you don't have to swallow it. You can keep doing what you're doing. But if you're getting frustrated and not asking yourself these questions, then you're the one to blame for this. And that's the harsh truth of it all. And I'm going to upset people with this video if they even watch it. But that's the harsh truth. You got to sit down and realize, like, take a cold, hard look at your training. And if you find you're getting hurt, you find you're not actually performing better, and not getting the results you want, then something is wrong, or you're just not suited for it. And that's a hard truth to admit to yourself. And that's what I did in 2019, the fall of 2019. And while I'm doing this talk, that's what this picture is up here that this camera doesn't want to look at. Is this picture up here is me in 2019 getting the silver medal in a national championship, but I knew that was going to be the last time. I wasn't going to get any higher than that. And that's what made me change my training methodology to make me just a better holistic athlete, not a bit faster bike racer or anything like that. I just wanted to be a better athlete. And then all the rewards came. Thanks for watching.